This video is just a little reminder of how the power rule works for derivatives. So it's here in this yellow box. If you have a power function, x to the n, and you take the derivative with respect to x, it turns out that you can just bring down the n out in front and subtract 1 from the original exponent, and that gives you the correct derivative of this power function. So we have a set of examples to show how this works for different sorts of exponents. And in the first one, it's the simplest case. It's a positive integer exponent on x. And to get the derivative, I bring down a 3 out in front, I subtract 1 from the original exponent, and I get 3x squared. The second one is a little bit unusual. I have the derivative of 5, and you may remember that the derivative of a constant is 0, but I wanted to show this using the power rule. So I'm going to write this as 5 times x to the 0, and that constant 5 is a spectator here. So it's 5 times the derivative of x to the 0. Well, you bring the 0 down in front, and at that point, it's game over. I know this thing's going to turn out to be 0. But if I'm really just following the power rule faithfully, I have to write x to the negative 1 there. So 0 times x to the negative 1, that's 0. And of course, the derivative of a constant is 0, but that's how you show it with the power rule. The third example, it's a little bit hard to see the prime on this, so I'm just going to highlight it a little. There was a little prime there. I was just trying to mix up the notations a little bit. So I want the derivative of 1 over x to the 5th. And I'll go ahead and continue to use prime notation just for the practice. So what you do is write it as x to the negative 5, and then the power rule still works. So I bring negative 5 out in front, times x to the negative 6, again subtracting 1 from the original exponent. And it's a little bit rude to leave it in that form, so I'm going to write it as negative 5 divided by x to the positive 6. Finally, we have an example with a square root, and a square root is just a power of 1/2. So I have f of x is really x to the 1/2, and that means f prime of x is found by bringing down the exponent out in front and subtracting 1 from the original exponent. Well, 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. This could be rewritten as 1 over 2 x to the positive 1/2, which is nicer if I write it as 1 over 2 square root of x, and we're done. If you find the math content on Zach's Lab helpful, click on the Zach's Lab logo on the right to browse playlists and subscribe to the channel. I produce dozens of new videos per month, and subscribing is the easiest way to find new content. Thanks for watching.